Yes. How are you brothers doing? Welcome to the MLC. This is your host and your brother, Mr. Limba. Look here. This here is going to be the flip side of the coin. Okay? This is the other side of the coin. The first half of that coin, the first side of that coin was in my video called Women, Masters of Emotions and Manipulations. But let me tell you brothers something. That one, the woman was painted as the one trying to trick you. She was painted as the perpetrator, you would say. She was intentionally using her emotions to manipulate you. She was intentionally picking up on your vibes, because women are very good at picking up on your emotions and using them against you. But in this one, I'm also going to tell you about the weakness. This is the other side. We have a yin and a yang. We have a night and a day. We have a cold and a hot, a negative and a positive, a masculine and a feminine. This right here is going to be the other side. You see, women are vessels. Women you can pour into. I say that to you guys all the time. And they're supposed to grow what you pour into them. They're supposed to make something out of it. They're supposed to feel it. God created them as an amplifier to the masculine energy. I will talk more on this when I talk on the metaphysics. But for right now, let's close up this topic real quick. Let's finish up on the psyche and the emotions of the female. Women will take emotions that comes from propaganda, the news, television, a magazine. Her emotions might change from the time you were shopping with her in the dairy aisle to by the time you got with her in the checkout lane. Because those magazines there on the shelf, she looked at one and she felt that woman's pain that's on the magazine cover. Her story told how she was abused. She takes that to heart. Now she feels abused. Now she knows you never did anything to her, but it's bothering her, and you may have to deal with that. Women are easily manipulated. Easily manipulated. That is why most advertisements are geared to target women. Even if they're selling a razor for men, they tend to tell them, women like a nice, smooth, shaved men. Even though women are going crazy over the beard game challenge. But women will look at that and go, you know what? That looks nice. So if I get him this razor, it's going to look good. She either goes out and buy it or asks you to suddenly shave your beard. Meanwhile, she was the very one to tell you to grow your beard, because there was a craze about growing beards. They are easily manipulated, and that is why game exists. That is why spitting game exists. That is why we have men teaching strategies on how to approach women and what to say to women, when to ignore women to make them want you more. All that is a play on her emotions. They are easily played with. So when you're dealing with a woman, I'm going to tell you this: you should never let her lead you. I'm going to repeat that. Never let a woman lead you, because she will lead you into destruction. I'm not saying never listen to what your woman have to say. She may have some good advice. She is a help me given to you by God. So in other words, she may feel something because her emotions were meant to be a good thing. She may feel something that you don't see, because as men we may be robotic. So you take what she's saying and you lead that if you think it's valuable. But you don't let her take the wheels and lead you. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying ignore your woman. I'm saying don't let your woman lead you, because her emotions will go up and down faster than any stock market or any cryptocurrency. Alright? And what you're going to end up with is a heavy loss. And when you blame her, she will tell you, why did you listen to her? You are a man. Don't blame me. If you ever heard that before, it's probably because you were not on your leadership game. You need to lead. Alright? Now speaking of game, right? I tell you game exists for women. Game is to get to a woman's emotions when it comes to relationships or many things, even advertisers when it comes to Valentine's Day, selling diamonds which are actually worthless. They use game. A woman prefers not to move into her own home. Most of the time, she prefers to go rent a small apartment, flat, or suite, wherever country you're from. They might say that differently. She preferred to move into a small apartment rather than a nice house because she wanted to get a nice diamond ring instead. That is her emotions. Why? Because a fat guy somewhere in the 40s, I believe, came up with some propaganda that a diamond is a woman's best friend. She just knows it's not proper without a diamond. Her emotions will drive her to a point where it takes over any real, solid, logical reasoning. You should never follow your woman. Now, game also was first spit by Satan. Now, those of you who don't believe in the Bible, you could probably see it as some kind of allegory. I would hope you do. I do. I believe it's the word of God, but that's just me and some other people. You have your choice. I always tell people you have your choice. But if you think it's an allegory, well, look at the allegory. For those of us who think it's the word of God, I'll say it's the word of God. Now let's look at this. There's two sentences. All right. Now we know of Adam and Eve's story. First man, first woman ate the fruit that everybody calls an apple, deceived by Satan, which was in the form of a talking snake, blah, blah, blah. You know the story. So here in 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, the 14th verse, shout out to my brother Clothed in Shadows. He made a video talking on this passage right here. The passage says Adam, the first man, was not the one deceived. Let's put emphasis on deceived. So we understand the man, which also sinned because he ate the fruit, was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. Now we know they both sinned. Sin meaning they disobeyed God. They both disobeyed God. All right. They both broke whatever God told them not to do, which in this case was not eat that fruit. But the word deceived is related to the woman, not the man. The man went along with it, which was stupid, but he was not deceived. Understand what I'm saying? Women are easily manipulated. So Satan, which understands more about humans sometimes than humans understand about themselves, he said, you know what? If I go through the man, this is not going to work. But knowing female nature, let me go spit some game right quick. Let me give her that smooth talk. Like, look here, baby girl, you're looking real pretty today. You know, these fruits go real nice with your lips. And she's over here like, what are you talking about? You know, God said not to eat that. What you talking about? He just don't want you to be great. He don't want you to be a goddess. Well, have we heard that before, brothers? He don't want you to be a goddess. You know, you're going to know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to think for yourself, right from wrong. You know, come on, baby girl. Put that pretty fruit to them pretty lips. You know, so Satan was just sitting there spitting game. The first one to ever spit game. And the woman, which is easily deceived, easily open to manipulation and suggestions, she bit into that. Pun intended. God did not intend for women's emotions to be ignored, but they were supposed to be like an amplifier to men. Okay? Women were supposed to be the ones to try to boost a man's faith when a man cannot see faith. Because at times men, since we're very logical, if we don't see a logical way out of it, even though we're praying men, we tend not to have any faith. And she'll come by and tell you everything's going to be okay. I believe in you. Right? But women don't do that nowadays because of our society. The cycles of thoughts, emotions, and actions have been reversed. God set it up so it may be thoughts. For those of you who believe it's the universe. Let's not lose track here because I'm using the term God, right? Now I believe it's God, but whatever you believe. It was supposed to be thoughts. From thoughts comes emotions. From an emotion become action. Actually, from those of you who actually follow people who talk about the laws of attraction a lot, they talk about you need to think it first, right? It is a thought that you have, and you need to believe and feel that you are in the present, right? That whatever it is that you want is in the present, and then you'll be able to manifest it and bring it into action, fruition, make it real. That is the law of attraction, kind of summed up in a quick few seconds here, right? What is what the man was supposed to be: thought, emotion, action. What ended up happening is that society turned everything on its head. It made the women the leaders, told the women that they are just like men. So what happened is the women think differently. They use emotions, action, then they think about it. Very similar to how most women lost their virginities. Very similar to how most women have abortions when they don't want to, or have abortions even when they think they want to, because someone got into their psyche. Something persuaded them. Their emotions enslaved them. I'm feeling down. I gotta get rid of this baby. She does it. Spend the rest of her life regretting it. Because she didn't really do and make that decision. Someone convinced her. Or some guy pressured her. Or it was her grandmother, grandfather, somebody. Maybe it was, Planned Parenthood. Because all they have to do is mess with her emotions, she will act on that emotion. And then she'll think about it. You should never follow a woman. She is a victim to her emotions. Now, I will make a video in more detail of why you should not argue with women. But right here is a nice little piece. Men argue like this. This is what happened. As a consequence, this is what normally happens. Cause and effect. Women argue, well, I felt. Most women arguments start with how they feel about things. This is not a bad thing. It was meant to be governed by men in their lives. Women should be seen like an energy. And they need to be grounded, okay? The thing is, they're not grounded because their mother probably got rid of the man that was in her life, or their mother was so emotional she picked the wrong man and he never even tried to stay in their lives. So she was never covered by a man, alright? No man was ever there to lead her. She didn't have a father. And there's no father figure nearby or around. Or the mother said, I don't need one. So she grew up as a vessel. I explained to you, women are vessels. They pick up anything and everything. And they react on that feeling. Right? So now, she never had a husband. She's all over the place. By the time you try to get with her, you have a woman that have picked up personality traits from everywhere. And she's no longer suitable to be a wife. Now, women will try sometimes to be logical just to fight us men. They'll try to shoot out some logic. But if you read into all the fancy words and all the vocabulary that they learn from school and universities, you realize it's the same old female. Because she cannot fight her nature. She is still more emotional and very little logic. Let's look at an example. Here we introduce Gloria Steinem. She argues, if women are supposed to be less rational and more emotional at the beginning of our menstrual cycle, when the female hormone is at its lowest level, then why isn't it logical to say that in those few days women behave the most like the way men behave all month long? To break it down to you guys, if you didn't catch that, she is basically saying the female hormone is low during the early moments of her cycle. Men also have female hormones, but it is very low in men all the time. So if she's behaving in a sense that is irrational in the beginning of her cycle because her hormone is low, then men should be irrational all the time because female hormones are low all the time. Here's the problem with that. Men also have a hormone that is much higher than women. When women have their female hormones that low, their male hormones don't necessarily spike up, neither do their brain change to look like a male's brain. There's a lot of things happening on the molecular level and on the cellular level that she's not taking into consideration. This is what I mean about an attempt to use education to think that they're just like men in an attempt to argue that everything you say about them is wrong and they're right. But if you look into it deeply, it falls apart. Women and men are different. We are different because God made us different, or nature made us different, or the universe made us different. I believe it is the Most High Yah. That's my view. But either way, we are different. We are not the same. I've seen feminists complain that men are too dominant doing sex because the sexual positions put men in a position of dominance. Try not dominating a woman in the bedroom at all and see how long she sticks around you. It's just stupid. The way men are made is to penetrate a female. There's no way around that. And if there is, I don't care to know about it. But this is the stupidity of when society causes a cognitive dissonance, which means a problem between her two logics, because her nature is telling her to be dominated, is telling her to be led by a man. But whatever she's been taught is telling her that that is so wrong. So even when she finds a man she can trust, love, and that loves her back and would not harm her or mistreat her, she cannot let go of her guard that she has up for no darn good reason. Let's continue real quick. Whether we like it or not, men and women are not the same in nature, temperament, emotions, and emotional responses. Men and women are just different. Society have told women that they're just like men, so they took away the barriers which we used to have to protect women from harming their own selves. Because the way that their emotions can be easily manipulated actually harms them. But they don't know that. They don't understand that. As a result, they end up a hot mess. They end up with 50 to 60 guys telling them what to do. 50 to 60 women telling them what to do. They have created their personality from everyone around them. Hurt, misery, stress, anger, everything. And most of the time what makes her happy is the things that she have used as a coping mechanism. Partying with her friends, getting drunk, and twerking in public. Everything that will make her never be a wife. We have serious consequences when things are out of balance, when nature is tampered with. Feminism is actually opposing nature. You guys have to understand that. A woman's nature requires something and a man's nature requires something. No human intellect can change that. All you create is friction in broken homes. You get people like feminism, and then you'll get brothers who are just going their own way because they're tired of the foolishness. But I want the brothers to know, when you pass the red pill rage, you start realizing not all of it is her just being wicked. Now, I'm not saying she's not wicked. I'm saying that sometimes she's the victim, because our Western societies have skillfully used her own nature against her. They have poured everything negative into her. She is a swirling whirlpool of emotions, and she's not stable. A woman was supposed to be led by her father or a father figure, and from then she was supposed to be handed over to her husband by him, and he was supposed to keep her grounded. But they made her believe that's not necessary. So as a result, she picked everything from her mother that was negative and all over the place. And then she picked from her homegirls. So by the time some guy that she picked to hand her over to you in a white wedding dress symbolizing purity, she is nowhere near pure and literally unworthy of being a wife. Also, by the time that you are getting her, her vessel is filled already. She is an emotional wreck. She thinks she knows where she is going, but she doesn't. And the best she probably can do with her life is get a few pieces of paper where society has approved her that she is worth something. But her intrinsic self is worth nothing. She is damaged goods. Because also all the other men she have been with have left a piece of themselves in her. Emotionally, DNA wise, or even their children. You're getting less than a shell of a woman. You cannot pour your essence into this woman because she is heavily confused. A slave to her own emotions. Everything that she picked up around her, she reacted upon emotionally. And she no longer has any more self-control. So in relationships, you will find yourself, brothers, you will find yourself juggling women and women's emotions. you'll find yourself dealing with a different facade of her every day. Now, this can be because she is manipulating you, or it can be because she is just a victim from her own emotions, and she could have been manipulated. Because like I've said, propaganda is pushed and commercials are pushed to target women and children, the two that have very little control over their emotions. That's the same reason the black churches and many other churches prefer to have a lot more women in church than men. Because with the right pastor speaking the right words, if he's wicked, he'll have her opening her pocketbooks and her legs to him quite easily. By the time she realizes what's going on, it's too late. And then she'll move on to the next guy that does the same thing. Because women can be easily manipulated. They are a slave to their own emotions. I can't say it enough. So men, man up. Not from the women's perspective of manning up, but from the male's perspective of manning up. You lead your woman, and that's final. I hope this was a good wrap up. I try to keep it light. I don't want to make it redundant. I don't want to make it confusing. I don't want to talk about things that belong in the metaphysics here, because it doesn't belong here. That will teach you guys more about the feminine nature. But I will drop that. Don't worry, it's coming. I have some heavy hitters coming your way. I want you brothers to stay strong. Don't let her emotions get to you. Even when you go to a different country where women are trained and they're given barriers and they have men in their lives, they will be better. But you must still keep an eye on her. See, that was Adam's problem. He didn't keep an eye on her. And when you leave him alone, any whisper can slide up in her ear and manipulate her. Understand what I'm saying? And that goes for your daughters too. Your sisters, your female cousins. But right now, for most of our women, once they hit teenage age, if they were not thought by somebody early on, they're lost by now. There's no reaching them. Which is why I'm advising you brothers to stay locked into my channel, as I'm about to start talking about women in other places, in other countries, because I have traveled. I'm a man who travels. Okay, and I'm heavily informed about other cultures in other countries. I know how to look for opportunities. I'm going to teach you brothers that. And I'm going to show you brothers how you probably can travel to find wives. And when you bring them over, if you're going to, how to be wise before they end up in the same situation as the women over here. Y'all brothers know my channel is all about you guys. It's all about showing love, man. Be patient, man. I'm coming quicker this year. I'm not going as slow as I was going before, because those of you who've been following me a season by now, you understand the basics. It's time to move from milk and we're going to meat. You know what I'm saying? Our food needs substance. No more baby food, man. It's about to get rough. I already been dropping some stuff that are a little bit rough. Some people have emailed me, man, you seem out of character. Did something happen? You seem aggressive. I'm like, no, nothing happened. This is me. You know, this is me. I was going slow. But now it's time to get real, man. Never let a woman lead you. I've said it before. Now I just gave you the reasons why not to let that happen. Because whoever is manipulating her will now be manipulating you. And that's what happened to Adam, my brothers. Because you see, the serpent put the game on the woman, right? He manipulated Eve. And Adam, since he followed his woman, he already broke first commandment right there. Because he was supposed to be her head. And what ended up happening is he sinned by eating that fruit. You see, it's not the biting of the fruit that's the problem. It's the very act of agreeing to do it mentally before you even did it. Men should not follow their women. We should listen to their advice. They're there to help us. They're there to amplify what we are doing, what we are thinking. They can be very, very resourceful. A woman is a beautiful thing if she understands her element and she stays in it. But otherwise, she's nothing but a pain. With that said, man, just wrap this up. You brothers take it easy. Stay blessed, man. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback. Tell me what you got from this. Tell me where you're confused. Tell me how you hate this. I don't care either way, man. Stay blessed. Everybody who's listening, stay blessed. God bless you all, man. Wishing you all well. This is Mr. Limba. I'm out.